Hi guys, welcome back. I am doing my 28-week growth scan and consultant update today. The scan appointment was last week, but my consultant appointment was only yesterday, so that's why it is a week late and I am actually 29 weeks. So anyway, I will go into kind of what happened at my scan, as in what I was told there, and then I'll go through what we went with just the consultant, if that makes sense. So at the scan, I went in, lay down, you know, all of that, the drill of what you do, and the lady started like looking at my tummy, and she said that he wasn't a poser today, which was okay because he normally is a poser, but he wasn't today. She could get his measurements, but he was I think she said lay on his tummy, so it was a bit difficult to get the measurements properly, but she managed anyway. So she measured his head first. His head, I think, measured 27 weeks and 5 days. So 2 days behind. I was 28 weeks exactly. So that wasn't anything to worry about. That is pretty much average, perfect, you know. His tummy, I think, weighed 28 weeks in one, so 1 day ahead. And his femur, which is part of the leg, I always say my babies seem to have big legs because Ethan had big legs, and I say it about this one. His legs were measuring, I think, 3 days ahead at 28 weeks and 3 days. So they were all perfect. They were not worried at all about how he was measuring. He looked great. They checked their, I think it was the airflow through the placenta, or through the cord, I think, and that was perfect as well. And like he was kicking do you know how they put the probe type thing on? He was kicking that off, so she had to keep putting it back on. So he was very active, showing a lot of movement. Heartbeat looked perfect. Everything looked fine. The fluid was also measuring perfect. So then she told me like how much he is weighing, like how much he's the estimate of how much. They're not 100% accurate. And she said he is measuring 2 pounds 9 ounces. I have read, like on the pregnancy apps I follow to do my bump dates and stuff, that around this time baby is 2 pounds and 2 ounces. So he is 7 ounces more than the average, which I'm okay with as long as he's not measuring too small and they're not worried. I am fine with that. So I was super happy with that. I did manage to get a little face image. It's not very clear. It wasn't the best, like I said. He wasn't being a poser today. He didn't really want to get all of that. But we also did get to see like his little feet, which I said looked quite big actually. And she also said that he is breech. So he was actually kicking my bladder, which I could feel. But his head was like up. So she says he's breech, but we're not going to worry because it's still early on. So that's okay. And my placenta moved up. I'm not sure if you watched my last update where my placenta was low reach and they called it, I don't know what that means, but it was high. It moved with baby, so everything was looking great. They also wanted to check the fibroid to see if it got bigger or if it was in the way of anything, and they couldn't find it. They couldn't find it on my 20-week scan and they couldn't find it on my 28-week scan, so they are of course happy with that because it's not causing any problem that they can see. They can't find it at all, so I'm super happy, like I said, about that. So anyway, I then had my consultant appointment yesterday. She did the normal checks that a consultant will do because, well, the consultant and midwife normally do it, but the consultant did it too. She checked my blood pressure, which was perfect, was fine. She had to listen to baby. He felt fine. Had a feel in my tummy. Felt fine. Didn't measure my tummy, but I don't think they're measuring because they're going by the growth scan measurements. I think he's on like the 20th line because he's between 10 and 50, but closer to 10, so I would say about the 20th line from the scans, like his measurements. So he's not measuring really big, not measuring too small, anything like that, which is perfect. But then the consultant, like I said, checked like how he was feeling, listened to how his heart beat. She did say I had glucose in my urine, which she said was probably because I took the samples first thing on the morning because my appointment was super early and I'd had some cereal and a big glass of orange juice before bed, so she said that would be what's caused that. So like will not worry about that, because obviously I had my glucose tolerance test, which I'll make an update for that probably after this one, which you'll see probably the next day. So that is really all. She wasn't concerned. She said, I will see you back at 32 weeks where we will start discussing your birth plan. We'll see how baby is growing again, because I have another growth scan at 32 weeks to make sure that fibroid isn't in the way and hasn't come back and caused, well, not come back, but shown itself, got bigger or anything like that. So that is all for this update. I haven't really missed anything off that I can think of. So if you haven't already and you would like to follow our journey and see what our little one is going to look like, I will do a clues for name reveal closer to when he's born. I'll do a what's in my hospital bag and everything like that as well. So I guess I'll just leave this part here, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and remember to hit the little bell so you get notified when I upload, and I'll just see you in the next one. Bye!